Hello and welcome. How are you guys? How is everybody?
We are fine. Hi, Victor.
Hello, Faith. How are you doing?
I'm great. I love your talk.
Oh yeah, talk.
Inakaa
Thank.
vizuri.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Eh.
please. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, we are trying to be people who embrace. Yeah, where we belong, where we come from. So I decided to look like this today. Let me see who's in here. Thank you, Faith.
You're welcome.
Laban G, the OG. How are you?
I'm fine.
Are you good?
Yes.
Yeah, I can see. I can see you're fine. I can see. Thank you for joining in on time, in time. Actually, I think I found you in here together with the Samuels. Hi, you people. Yeah, one of them has to rush to unmute from. Hello. The Samuels joined in, and I don't know where they left and went to. I hope they are coming back, or they are in and they can't unmute themselves. I'm not sure. And then there's Daisy Sally. How are you, Daisy?
I'm fine.
Nice to see you in, and thank you for joining in. I can see Lynette has also joined in. Lynette, Chani Kwambush immediate. How are you?
I'm good, Vicat. How are you?
I'm very fine. So I don't know whether it's the network. It's making you do techniques that
Oh, inanifanya nifanye techniques kama za road.
hizo sasa eh.
I think
It's okay. Nice to see you. Yeah.
Hapa. Network yangu huwa isumbui, sijui kwa nini leo inafanya hivyo.
I know it's going to settle. Unajua pia ukiharakisha vitu and there's a way it doesn't work well.
Yeah.
Nice to see you guys. Yesterday we were talking about techniques. We've been doing that for the last 2 days, and today I want us to do something different, and I'm still waiting to see if there are people going to join in. So in the meantime, I don't know whether the Samuels are already in again. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you for joining in. You're welcome. We are waiting for other people to join in, and in the meantime, let me do something for you here, guys. Give thanks with a grateful heart. We give thanks to the Holy One. Give thanks because He's given Jesus Christ, His Son. Give thanks with a grateful heart. Give thanks to the Holy One. Give thanks because He's given Jesus Christ, His Son. And now let the weak say, I am strong. And let the poor say, I am rich, because He's given Jesus Christ, His Son. And now let the weak say, I am strong. And let the poor say, I am rich, because He's given Jesus Christ, His Son. Give thanks. We 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 give thanks. Ninaomba kukaa nawe. This is one of the times you will find me speaking in Swahili. Ninaomba kukaa nawe siku zote, siku zote. Ninaomba kukaa nawe, ninaomba kukaa nawe siku zote, siku zote, siku zote, siku zote. Ninaomba kukaa nawe, ninaomba kukaa nawe siku zote, siku zote, siku zote, siku zote. Aha. Okay, there's Sandra, Claire, and Monica Obuya. You're welcome. Thank you for joining in. We have how many more minutes? 4 more minutes, and then we start immediately. So still let me do something for you guys. Leo ni siku yangu, okay? Today is my day. We have people who will not understand me when I speak Swahili. So today is my day. Acha ni flex before nianze before nianze serious things. Yes, Laban, that's why I'm dressed for the day. Today is my day. Yeah, y'all have to know that. Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to look for that song and it's not coming. You made a way when I backed against the wall and it looked like it was over. You made a way when I backed against the wall and it looked like it was over. You made a way. You made a way when I backed against the wall and it looked like it was over. You made a way, and you made a way. Hosanna, Hosanna, Hosanna in the highest. Hosanna, Hosanna, Hosanna in the highest. Hosanna in the highest. Hosanna, Hosanna, Hosanna in the highest. Hosanna, Hosanna, Hosanna in the highest. Na 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 na. Hosanna in the highest. Okay. Again, welcome, Margaret Nyamweru. And that kicks us right into today's lesson. Thank you guys for being patient with me as I was flexing. Today we are going to do something else, and that is performing arts. Now, the reason why I was waiting for some of you and actually trying to keep the rest of you who are already entertained, is because I actually wanted you to notice that I was not going to mute my mic and tell you guys that we have 5 more minutes to wait for Margaret because she's not in already, and I just want you, Laban and Faith and the Samuels, just chill there. Yeah, you can get yourselves glasses of water, whether that is correct English or not. I don't care. Now, I am trying to like keep you guys who are already entertained, because one, I'm teaching you about performing arts, and I want you to see some of the fundamentals of being a performer, because there are times, and this has happened to me, not once or twice, where you have your set properly prepared, then from nowhere there's power surge, and you know, your set can't work again, your instruments can't work again. So you are not going to tell the audience that you guys, you will have to go out in the restaurant that is nearby, get yourselves nyama choma, as we look into the power problem, whether you can find a generator. No, these people are already in. They are expecting from you. They had expectations, and they were anticipating greatness from a great guy like you, from a great lady like you, from a great performer like you, and then you don't want to tell them to go out and keep themselves busy. It's your task. They came for you, so you have to do that. So those are things that you have to learn as a performer. And performing arts is a vast subject that we can discuss all day, we can discuss it all night, because it's not only about music, it's about theater, it's about dance, it's about those who do puppetry, it's about magic. There are people who perform magic. So when you talk about performing arts, it covers a very wide area, but I want to narrow it down to what we will relate to so well, and that is being a performer and a musician, or being a musical performer, or being a singer. Let me tell you one thing about the Kenyan entertainment industry, and even any other industry out there. When you have your song produced and it's uploaded in the different social media platforms, and the platforms where music is streamed, or platforms where movies are streamed, you know that the amount you make from the sites is nothing compared to the amount of money you're going to make as a performer. Because when you do your song, you will have gigs. You will have people calling you for gigs. You will have yourself organizing your concerts. You will have yourself being invited into concerts, and that pays even more than, you know, what you get in iTunes and Boomplay and all the audio marks and stuff like that. So knowing how you're supposed to be a better performer is even more important than knowing how to upload your songs on Boomplay or iTunes or Spotify. So it's good that you get the fundamentals of being a better performer. And you know, there's something that we always say, that a good performer is always known when they are live. You know, because we also have auto-tunes. Someone will go to the studio and have their voice, you know, made to sound like Billie Eilish, and they sell their CDs in Kenya. Lakini kutana na yeye, meet them live, and you will wonder why you don't have money and they have. Because because you can sing better than them. Actually, you can't even stand the sound that they are making. It's because they went to the studio and there was auto-tune, and you know. So knowing how to be a better performer, doing those live performances is even better than you know, all the other stuff that we want to fancy as artists the other stuff that we want to fancy as musicians, you know, having yourself on different platforms, being seen worldwide, making good money from the platforms. You know, we always want to meet celebrities, musicians, and performers. And it's because we know that there's some greatness in them. Then you don't want to come and shock me when I think there's greatness in you, and I've never heard you perform live. Then I come and I'm shocked. You know, I don't want that. So that is why I want to give us a few things that we need to know as people who are going to be performers and musicians who do acoustics and karaoke and things like that. So as a performer, the first thing that you want to really invest on is mastering your art. And when I talk about mastering your art, I'm not a professional pianist. I always say that. I'm not a professional pianist. And part of the reason why I have avenues to do what I do is because, you know, I really want to be good with my art. I really want to, you know, when I share with you something that I know, you know, I want the authenticity to flow. I want you to see that actually this guy is someone who really knows what he's doing. When I play the piano, I don't consider myself professional, but you know, I consider myself doing the best that I can do in the moment. And when I leave that place, because I know there are other better avenues that are going to open up, I want to really invest in making myself better. I want to invest in knowing more about what I already know. So one thing that you really need to know as a performer is mastering your art. And there's a book that I read a long time ago. I think that was in 2014 when I was just joining high school. I think so. And that was it's a book by Malcolm Gladwell. It's called Outliers. Outliers is a book that it's talking about mastering your art. At that time, I didn't know I can sing. I didn't know anything like that. I didn't know I can play the piano. I didn't know I can even, you know, come and talk to guys like you. And when I read that book, it was having an idea that is really shared across the globe about mastering your art. And it's called the 10,000 hour rule. Now, the 10,000 hour rule states that for you to master the art, or for you to be very comfortable in doing whatever you're doing, especially if it's a skill, you have to practice it 3 hours a day for 10 years to make 10,000 hours. So for you to be a better singer, you have to practice singing for 3 hours a day and do that for 10 years. For you to be a better pianist, you have to practice your chords, your scales, your riffs, and your licks for 3 hours a day and do that for 10 years so that you are recognized as someone who has mastered his art. You know, for you to be a yoga instructor or a yoga guru, you know, you have to practice that for 3 hours, for 10 years, so that you are recognized as someone who has mastered his art, or someone who has mastered their skill. Allow me to light up this place because it's getting dark and I don't want you guys to get scared. So All right, thank you for your patience, and I'm back. So as I was saying, the 10,000 rule is not something that is applied by many, because we imagine the 3 hours a day we are working. Some of us are going to school, some of us have jobs, some of us have families to take care of, and Gladwell still says you have to do it 3 hours a day for 10 years, so that you become someone who is recognized as a person who has mastered their skill. That is just an idea that is given to us, and letting us know that we have to practice, no matter how long you want to do it in a day. You have to practice. As a performer, what you're going to do is something that not many people can do. So that's why people will pay to come and see how you do it, or come and listen to how you do it. There are people who maybe are doing it, but they consider you someone who does it better. So instead of listening to themselves do it, they will come and pay for your gigs and get in and have themselves listen to you or see you do whatever you're doing. So as a performer, someone who is going to do performing arts, especially stage performances, as a singer, you have to practice. You have to practice. I do have my practices for piano and for singing, and that is just how I want to make myself better as a performer. I have my time for practice, and that is something that should be considered by anyone important. Another thing that you want to do as someone who wants to be a better performer is know the difference between you and the other people who are in the industry. And when I say that, I mean authenticity. There are people who do cover songs. There are people who go for live performances and they are not doing their originals. They are doing cover songs. So if I come to you and I want to sing, I want to sing a song, and it's my original, you will have to listen to me anyway, because this is a song that I'm the one who composed it. I wrote it. Maybe I even did its arrangement and played the instruments. And you just have to listen to it because it's mine. But when I come to you with a song that a song that is sung by a legendary person, I will have to at least mark a difference between me and Don Moen, between me and Billie Eilish, between me and Ed Sheeran. Those big names, those big performers. Locally, if I come here and I want to sing for you Sauti Sol, they are my favorite in Kenya. They are my favorite, so I have to mention them at times. When I come and I want to do their songs, I have to let you see the difference between me and Sauti Sol. I have to be authentic. And how do I become authentic when doing someone's work? I put myself in it. And that is why I started by not teaching you how to be a better performer. I started teaching you about how to make your singing better, so that techniques that you can apply as a performer, and that makes you sound unique. That makes you sound authentic whenever you're doing a performance, whenever you're doing someone's work. And there are people who want to listen to you. You have to be authentic, and part of that authenticity comes with the knowledge of you having to practice properly. So you see, these things just relate. If you have to accept the fact that you have to practice for you to be authentic, you have to do better with your art for you to become a better performer. So one, you have to really master your art. Two, after mastering your art, you have to bring authenticity with you. We don't want to, come listen to you and we're like, yo, boy, you don't have it, man. I can't listen to you. I can't stand the sound that you're making in here. Just refund me. I want to go back home. Those kind of things. You really want to avoid that. So as a better performer, have your authenticity on point. And then another thing is professionalism. There are people who think that because someone started singing when they were 13 and it's because they were talented and they never went to any music school, and they know nothing about music theory, that they are not professional. Let me tell you, music professionality is not about what the papers you have or the qualifications that you have. It's always about how disciplined you are. It's always about how disciplined you are. And when I talk about discipline, I'm talking about personal discipline and discipline in the industry. You've had a lot of controversies, especially in the Kenya gospel industry. People are doing content that is not really considered gospel or Christian. And you think that they are professional, they are professional because they have big names at that point. But if I'm to consider their professionality or their professionalism in respect to the kind of content that they give, I'll actually render them very unprofessional. Sorry about that. Professionalism, as far as a performer is concerned, is about discipline in the industry, and the personal discipline, how you practice, how you organize your shows, and organizing your shows. When you become a big person and you will have a good fan base and a proper audiences, you want to make sure that you have your contracts signed. You want to have your contract outlined properly for anyone who is going to invite you for a gig, or anyone who is going to call you for a performance. You have to have your contracts. And I think one of these days I should talk to you guys about contracts, especially in the entertainment industry, because we have a lot of guys stuck in places that they can't get themselves out of, because they didn't know how to do their contracts. They didn't know how to sign contracts, and they didn't know which contracts to sign and which ones not to sign. They didn't know which contracts to terminate and which ones not to terminate. And there are a lot of problems, especially when you don't know how the industry works. So you want to have your contracts properly signed. You have to have your insurance policies, kept to date, because when you go for a gig, you are going to meet people you've never met before, and it's going to be an audience, and you've hired the place. There could be anything, vandalism, and you want to have your insurance policies properly put. So sometimes, we don't always see that. It's not always in the picture. At a guy, ndio niende ni perform, lazima nikuwe na insurance policy. I must take care of the venue that I'm going to perform in. I must take care of the properties that I'm going to find there. Yeah, you have to take care of the properties that you're going to find there, because it's your gig. When the owners of the place or of the venue come and they tell you, yes, Faith or Laban, you had your gig here, the Samuels, you had your gig here the whole night, and we are very glad that you paid us for the place. But I also want to inform you that your audience actually broke our chairs, and some even stole the chairs. So we don't know them, but we know you. So just settle us, just settle us. And you have to take care of that. You must make sure that your insurance policies are kept up to date. And another thing speaking of audience, professionalism is also revolved around knowing how to create yourself a fan base. You know, you have to know how to do your marketing for your shows, how to do your marketing for your performances, so that you don't go singing to 3 people for the whole night and they are paid 1,500 each. So in total, you have like 4K, 4,500, and the place where you are performing at charges you 50,000, and the instrument and your BGVs need from you another 100K. You have to strategize, and that is part of professionalism. As far as performing arts is concerned. All right. So someone wants to ask a question before I continue. All right, let's continue. Another thing, you know, what I was talking about is actually out of the main performance. It's still not in the performance. It's actually what you need to know before you become or before you went into the performance. And another thing that you want to know, number 3, I think, is your audience, interaction with the audience, and also your stage. There are people who really invest in that. Knowing your stage and knowing how you are going to interact with your audience even before you get into the show. It's something that is really important. One of the things that keeps an audience interested in listening to you is when you are not mean, when you know the performance is not about you. I remember there's a time when a Nigeria, I don't know whether it's Nigerian or Ghanaian, this guy called Techno, he came to Kenya, and the show was being charged around 10K or something, I'm not sure, and people really invested in that because Techno is a known name. And then Techno came and he performed for 2 minutes. 2 minutes, and people are really disappointed, and you know, people were not satisfied at all with whatever happened. And the next time that he was coming, actually there was no audience. There was no audience. He ended up canceling the concert. It's because when you want to be a better performer, you don't want to make things all about you. You want to include you want to include your audience and interact with them. And part of that interaction is actually involving them in your performance. So when you want to consider that, you also want to consider how your stage is going to look like, so that your performance and your interaction with the audience is going to be smooth. And there are types of stage that a performer should know. There are about 7 or something. We have thrust stage, you know, we have platform stage, we have hippodromes, and you can go and check these, or if you want to know more about this, you can enroll for the intermediate course. We will look we will look into them in detail. We have promenade stage, you know, there, and depends with the audience, and also depends with the type of performance that you are going to do. So knowing your stage and also considering how you are going to interact with your audience. And I know there are some of you here who have been to places where you perform, and sometimes you feel like the audience, you know, you are not exciting them in any way. They are not thrilled. They are not, you know, they are not happy with you, and you think that there's a problem with you. There's no problem with you. They feel left out, or maybe, you know, whatever you're doing is just not related to them. And again, that is a very important thing, that as a performer, you also have to know your audience. You know, you don't want to go singing hip hop to people who are in their 50s and 60s, you know, you have to consider fully the kind of content that you're going to do. You have to consider the kind of songs you're going to sing. You don't want to have children there and youth there, then you do hymns the whole night. They will get tired, they will get bored, and they won't like it. So it's good to know the kind of content that you're going to churn in respect to the audience that you have. Something else that you need to know, I think that's number 4, as a performer, is your mic technique. And you know, this is something that it's, you know, it sounds minor, but it's very, very important for you as a performer. It's very important that you know your mic technique. There's a way you hold mics, and there are sounds that come, you know, the way you hold the mic, that is the sound you're going to achieve. So you don't want to have yourself, you know, holding your mic like you are a hip hop artist. You've muffled the membranes, and then you want it to bring to give you a better sound. It's not going to happen that way. You have to learn, and that should even let you know the types of microphones that we have. As a performer, you really have to make demands. This is the type of microphone that I have because this is how I'm going to perform. There are unidirectional microphones that only they only take the sound from one direction. We find them in most of our churches that are not already grown properly. You really have to know how you are going to hold that mic so that it gives you the sound that you want. Then there are the multi-directional mics that can pick sound from anywhere, and then there are those clip mics and stuff. There are ribbon mics. You really have to know those kind of mics so that as a performer, you know how you're going to use them. You don't want to go to a place where there are ribbon mics. Ribbon mics ni kama zile zinakuanga kwa parliament. It's mounted in a place. You can't really move along with it. Then you want to perform for a whole night. You know, it's not going to serve you well. So you really need to know your mic techniques, how you're going to hold your mic, how you are going to, you know, do your variations of the distance between you and the mic, depending on the sound you want to make. Because when you want to do head voice, you have to shout. Head voice haikujangi tu hivi hivi, you know, unless you are really, you've really mastered your art. You've done the 10,000 hour rule properly, and you know well how to, you know, achieve your head voice or falsetto without straining. You will have to know when to move your mic closer to you and when to move it further from you, so that, you know, you don't also damage our membranes, and we just paid to come and listen to peaceful music from you, and then you do us injustice. That is criminal. That is criminal. So you want to know when to do your self and mic distance variation. And again, you have to know your communication signals on stage. And I think that is the last thing that I'm going to talk about, and it's a very important part of a performance. Now, communication signals involves everything and anything that you're going to do on stage. So the whole performance, all the things that you're using for the performance, all the people that are going to be there, all the lightings and whatever that is going to be there, those are communication signals. And we have at least 10 communication signals that you have to know as a performer, and you want to invest in being conversant with them and knowing how to apply them. And there are a lot of communication signals that you want to learn, but there are at least 10 that you really need to know. And part of that is kinetic, your body movement and stuff. We have pictorial, you know, how you are going to present yourself, what people are going to see immediately when they see you, the two-dimensional presentation of your performance, and then we have the artifactual, the three-dimensional presentation of your performance. People will want to interact with that. And another that is very important and big musicians and performance really invest in is optical, and that is about your lighting. You know, there are performances that are really enhanced by how the stage is lit, and people, the performance is not even standard, but you know, the way the stage is lit and the way the lights are communicating what the song says, the way the light and the songs you know, communicate the same message is actually making the performance better. And people who really have big audiences and people who know what they're doing really invest in lights. And when I speak lights, it's stage lights, because there are some information that you can't convey as a performer, but you can do it with your lights. And then we have the verbal, that is actually the words that you're going to speak. And then we have numerics. You know, there are a lot of stuff that you really need to know as a performer. Now, that brings us to something else. Now, after knowing all this, how do you sustain yourself as someone who considers themselves a performer? You know, there's a way you have to sustain yourself, because it happens, and it has happened before, that you start a career of being a performer, and then, you know, 3 years later, you're nowhere to be found. You passed like a wave, just said hi to us, amazed us for 3 months, then disappeared. You know, maybe that is what you wanted, but as someone who wants to sustain themselves as a performer, there are principles that you have to lay at a personal level, and even considering the industry. Now, what happens with most of guys who consider themselves performers is that you know, you have an idea, and you've not properly looked into it, but you know, you feel excited. I want the world to hear this. I want my friends to see this. I want the industry to get amazed by what I'm doing. I want to shock everyone. So what do? I jump into, you know, implementation. I have not put any strategy. I don't have a proper foundation. I don't have proper management of whatever I'm going to do. I just want to do this so that everyone else is amazed. That is the wrong way to go about it. The right way to go about it is first, you know, have the idea. That is where it starts. You have the idea, well and fine. You are talented, we know. And you've heard this say, you know, singing goes beyond the talent. So you are talented, you know, you have the voice. Yeah, right. Congratulations. But what's next? Have a proper foundation of what you really want to do. You know, there are people who specialize, and I'm glad to have the Samuels in. They specialize in a cappella singing. Yeah, I saw one of the interests. You know, putting that out. They specialize in a cappella singing. It's because they know what they want. They know what they're capable of doing. They know that can sustain them. I hope it's the truth. You know, they know that is what they can do best. So as people who consider themselves as performers, yes, exactly. Thank you. It's true. They have confirmed that it's true. So thank you. You know, as people who consider themselves performers, they have a foundation. And what is the foundation? They are a cappella singers. And you know, the reason why they have a cappella singers is because they are a group, and they are all talented, and they are able to do the a cappellas properly. They know their harmonies. They know how to do their harmonies. They know how to do their song arrangements, you know, and that is a proper foundation for having yourselves established as a group. And then, after that, you have a foundation and you are talented. What else? You want to manage yourself properly. Talent needs even more management than these offices you see around here. Because in the industry, this is an industry that grows. This is an industry that grows. And what we are doing today, I'm pretty sure that if our great grandfathers can come back and listen to us sing or just do anything, they won't like it, because that is, utasikia mtu akisema when I died, that is not what I was listening to. It was something different. It's because there's also evolution in the industry. There's evolution in the industry. So you don't want to keep doing the same thing the same way every day. That is not growth. They say insanity is doing the same thing the same way and expecting different results. Now, if you want to grow yourself, if you want to take yourself to a different level, you have to know how to manage yourself. And part of that management is actually knowing times and seasons. As someone who is a performer, you don't want to come and do dirges in a wedding. Man, we as we celebrate the union between the husband and the wife, we are also anticipating a child. So why are you singing dirges and we are talking about birth here? You have to know times and seasons. So you really have to know how to manage yourself. And let me tell you, when you have the talent, you are authentic, and you have a proper foundation, you will get money. You will have a lot of cash. So you also have to know how to manage the cash, because that is another thing that causes a lot of artists to go astray. You've had cases of big names that we know who are actually very broke than we are. So you have to know how to manage your finances. You have to know how to manage your talent. And talent management is actually knowing the seasons, knowing what you're supposed to do. And it comes back to what we started with, mastering your art and knowing, have your goal set. Let me use an example that probably a number of you will relate to. Recently, the prince died. The Prince of England died, and then there were a lot of stories going around, a lot of history going around, and then something shocked me, that the Queen is not working on a 10 years plan, or something like CG New Year's resolution at CG, this month I must do this. She's working on 100-year plan, a century. Now, consider that kind of a person who have goals set, and they are not timing themselves at the end of the year. They are talking about at the end of the century, this is what I want to have achieved. Then some of us can't even manage a day and we want to be musicians. You have to really know how to manage yourself and your goals, because you start from somewhere and you want to go somewhere. How do you get to that place? You have to know how to set goals. You have to know how to set have expectations of what you're going to be after 5 years, after 10 years. Yeah, this is music. This is not some kind of politics or something. So 100 years plan is ambiguous, but just know that you have to know how to time yourself. That I started singing, I started producing my music last year. That was last year. Even how it sounds last year, there should be something new by now. There should be something different by now. There should be something different by next month. There should be something different in the next 6 months. There should be something different in the next 10 years. Yeah. And if you practice, we have legends, and we know a number of them. Kenny Rogers, the late Kenny Rogers, those are people who are doing stuff from, you know, the 70s, and then they did it consistently up to the time we were born, you know, and we even found ourselves falling in love with their songs, and we are here like, no, we can't do classics, sijui country music imefanya nini. But you know, even when you think you can't do country music, just the sound and the authenticity and how this person has grown from the 70s to date, they're actually churning content and the type of music that you can comfortably listen to, because they knew that, you know, our generation is no longer here. This is a new generation and we have to flow with them. So what do we do? We give content that they relate to, and that is what they were doing. You know, great people who started singing long time ago, and you still want to listen to their music. It's not because, you know, the artists of music walitoa the 70s and you still love them. There's some that happens that way, but there are some that are produced when you're already born, and they knew in mind that there's someone who is born today, and he's probably not going to like the 70s. So what do I do? Because he was born in 2000, let me do what this generation loves. Let me do what this generation relates to. And that is how you grow as a performer. Okay, so that is managing yourself, knowing, you know, having your staff put in place, your goals properly oriented towards success, because that is what we all are looking up to. We all want to be successful, and successful, I don't even mean monetary success. You know, I'm talking about, you know, having a legacy left behind, that you know, as much as he is rich, his music is also rich. It's not just the money, it's the money and the content. So you really have to invest in yourself as a performer. Someone has a question before I continue. Okay.
I
Looks
have a
like
question because
okay.
niko na swali. In terms of managing yourself as a performer or as an artist, I hear there are people who have managers, because some of us are not good in doing that. So can you talk about having a manager as an artist or as a performer? At what point does a manager come in, or at what point do you decide, okay, now I need to have someone who can manage this thing for me?
Okay. Thank you. That is a very good question that should be answered like yesterday. Now, we have people who get themselves managers, and you know, that is a business. It's not just getting yourself a manager, it's a business. And the business part of it is that I might not be able to get myself shows to perform in. I might not be able to get myself gigs to go to. So what do? I sign a contract with this guy or this lady I call a manager, so that because she is connected, she is going to find avenues for me. So I'll be just chilling at home, you know, feeling nice and sipping small gulps of lemonade, and then I get a call. Hi, Vicat, we have a show on Friday. And my work is to say yes or no, I'll not be available. You know, that is how managers work. They will get you shows, and there is a commission you pay to them. So one of the things that one of the reasons, or the reasons why you might need a manager, is if you're not able to find shows for yourself, you will need a manager to do that for you. And you will talk about percentages of commission and stuff like that, because you have to pay him for that. And then there are other artists who need their finances managed for them, and that is most of the time people who are young in the industry, they cannot handle the money by themselves. So you will have a great name. And we have an example in here. There's Laban. Laban is an actor, by the way, and acts in a TV series that is being aired in Maisha Magic East. So you will find that maybe he has his parents as his managers because he can't handle the cash. So they are there to help him do that. Or you know, you want to do collabos with people and you can't treat them. There's a big person you want to interact with and you can't treat them. Your managers can do that for you. Yeah. I hope that is properly answered.
It's properly answered. Can I ask a last one?
Yes.
Okay, there's this issue of signing into record labels.
Mm-hmm.
What is the advantage or the disadvantage of signing? Because unaona mtu anasema ati huyu amesign into record label flani, so he's a recording artist for that label. So does it mean that you're only restricted to working to that recording label, that particular recording label? And if so, what are the disadvantages and advantages?
Okay, that is a nice question, and that brings me back to what I was saying about the contracts that we sign as artists. You know, when you say you're signing a contract with a record label, there are different types of contracts. There could be a contract that is, you know, binding you to working with that studio alone, so that, you know, all your music, all your stuff should be done by the studio. That is what your contract says, and it has to go for, you know, a span of time depending on what the contract says. And then there's another kind of contract that you will sign and you're still a freelancer. You are working with the record label, but you are free to do stuff with other people. Okay, so that is why I was saying you need to know as a performer, which kind of contract are you signing? Because you will sign a contract that is binding you in a place and you can't leave, and you really want to leave. There are opportunities out there that are calling you, but you can't leave because you signed a contract that is restricting you to a studio, to a record label for 3 years, and you've only done 9 months. So you have to wait for another, like, you know, 37 or so months, so that 27, I mean, 27 months, so that you can have your way to wherever you want to go to. So when you go signing a record label, you have to look at the contract properly and see whether it's binding you there permanently, it's binding you there for a period of time, or it's a free one. You can do whatever you like, whenever you like, but we are also working with you. So, you know, if you think this is the record label that I really want to work with, and their contract is saying that I can't leave for the rest of my life, feel free, sign it. But if you think that at some point in time you will need to leave, read the contract properly and reject if it's not allowing you. Always reject if it's not allowing you. You know, another thing that really happens with us is that, you know, you see the opportunity and you think that the opportunities will not come. So you say, let me just sign it. In the opportunity nimepata. Let me tell you, the industry has opportunities. So if you find a contract that is not favorable for you, don't sign it. Don't sign it. Yeah. That is answered, Lynn. I hope so.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. Now, guys, I think I'm going to end this at that, so that we meet again tomorrow. We will do something different again. And if anyone has another question, you can ask before I eject all of you out of this place. Okay. It was nice equipping you as performing artists, letting you know what you need to know as a performer, and actually sharing with you, you know, the experience And till tomorrow, you guys have a nice time and a good night and a good day tomorrow. Let's meet tomorrow, 6 p.m. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.